to this lecture series. Unit 3rd lecture 46 Milling Machine Tools. Continue. Last lecture is present for the some of the milling machines and types of the milling cutters and milling machines and some of the other parts. There are two types of milling machine. The upper types of milling cutters and milling machines, and second lower types of the down type of the milling cutter milling machines. Okay, upper types is the milling machine is the workpiece, and the tool rotation is the opposite direction, but the down downward for the of machines is the reciprocating of the tables and rotary motions of the tools both are the and same directions. Okay, and the and other topics is present in this video. Some of the most important down milling clamp machines and millings and milling operations. Some of the millings operation work holding, and some of the use of the work holding devices, the holding of the jobs and holding of the tools rams are the sum of elements used in this milling operations and training milling and abstracts of the reciprocal millings. So some of the reciprocal millings and rotary or the circular millings. Okay, some of the most important of the topics and some of the operations is present in this video, and the for increase the main objective of the milling machines and milling operation and the cut for the metal extra on surface of the workpiece and complete for the workpiece, and some of the and the use of the machine. Some are special purpose for the some of the milling machines used for the work is for the work is the drilling and some of the boring operation, and other types of the cutter of the use for the in milling of machines and okay, and a down milling clamp machining. The present for the upward milling machines and downward milling operations of the in the down milling the cutting tools rotate in the same directions as that of the table movement. Okay, and the also used for the this is the operation in the this is the tools also move from the this is the tool move in the direction of rotations, and this is the soft movement, this is the key, and other is the part of this is the working of perform the operation of the tools in the workpiece. Okay, this is the piece, and some of the cutting, this is the cutting operation of the tools. This is the feed rate of the feed, and this is the h1 total, the total depth of the workpiece. Okay, is h, okay, total h, okay, total h, and the second is feed rate of the job is the h1, and the depth of the cut is the small d. This, okay, this is the workpiece is the d, small d is the depth of the workpiece, and upper milling, and the okay, and this is the down the chip start for the maximum thickness as growth from the zero thickness. Okay, and this is operation for started to the cutting for the materials on of the surface of the workpiece, and to the generate to the zero workpiece to the maximum workpiece chip produced in these operations. Okay, and the heat also for and this is the down milling operations, and down milling operations, and this is the tools. Okay, this is the milling cutter is rotate by the mm, clockwise direction. Okay, this is the anti-clockwise direction, and this tool is the clockwise direction. Move from the shaft is also rotate for the clockwise direction. Okay, the cutter is also for wounded on the shaft. Shaft rotate is the clockwise direction, and tool also rotate for the clockwise direction. And the tools, this is the tools, the teeth of the multi-point cutting tools also used for perform this operation. And this is the workpiece. Okay, this is the workpiece, and I also for present this is the, and this is the feed rate. This is the feed rate of the, this is the feed rate of small h, and this is the direction of the tools, and direction of the workpiece, and table rotation, and the total height of the total depth of the workpiece is the h, and is cutting of the depth of the small d, and the safe and cut chief and cut workpiece is the says the job is the h1. Okay, but small difference for the tail to the table direction of, and the tools rotation of the bush. Okay, in same direction. The cutting face will act the downward. Okay, the and is for the such the key of the workpiece finally in the work holding devices. Okay, some of the work holding devices used for the holding the jobs, and holding the depth, holding the jobs, and holding of the cutters. Okay, and some of the tables holding for the devices used for the, okay, job tables is also for provided to the support of the workpiece. Okay, support of the workpiece, and the also for keeps the workpiece finally in the work holding devices. Okay, and the also for down milling, clamp milling, in the down milling through the cutting, the operation start from with the full chip thickness, and the this is the operation start from the full chip thickness, and the cut gradually reduce to the zero. Okay, and some suppose that and the operation started to point before for the produce for chip is the zero chips. Okay, and the operation is start to the zero to the maximum positions, and the chip size also produce for zero to maximum. Okay, this help in the eliminating the feed marks the present in the in the case of the full milling, and consequently for better surface finishing. Okay, this in milling up, and the milling upper of the milling operation, and downward of the milling operation, and for produce for the very smooth surface of the workpiece, and the the better of the surface, better of the surface is the stiffness is also increase. Clamp milling also this help is the eliminate, and the clamp milling also always for greater feed per teeth, and a longer the cutting life between the regard than the conventional milling machines. Okay, some of the operations for the milling operation is for the very typical operation for produce for the holding the jobs, and some of the typical work for the holding the milling cutters, and jobs is the, and motor for connected to the shaft, and the rotate for the clockwise direction and anti-clockwise direction of the soft rotate, and soft rotate is the depend on the tool also rotate for cutter is also rotate for the according to the rotation of the job soft. Okay, and there is the most important of some part of the this chapter for the advantages of the milling cutters and milling machines. Okay, the suite for the machines, thin and hard to hold parts, since the workpiece is for forced for against the table on holding devices for the the cutters. Okay, some of the most important for the point is the applications of the use of the some of the most about the holding devices. Okay, and support also support provided to the jobs and tables, and some of the and the machines thin and hard to hold the parts, since the workpiece is forced against is the table for the devices, for the some of holding devices used for the support the machines and other elements. The work need to not to clamp the slightly, and here is the milling operation cannot be performed to the performed without of the without holding, without use of the holding devices. Okay, and the milling force also the milling force is required for the milling operations, and milling force is for generate to the vibration of the workpiece. Okay, and some of the holding devices used for the remove for the vibration. Okay, vibration is removed, and the milling cutter is performed to the better operation, manufacturing operation, and the produce for the very smooth surface of the workpiece. The down milling clamp, the milling advantage continue. Point third, the constant for parallelism and size may be mentioned for the particular on this part. Okay, this is part is the for most for constant and parallelisms, and both are the workpiece and table are some of the operation the upward upward milling operations provided to the sum of the workpiece and tools is, or both are the movement of the tables and rotation of the tools, rotary motions for the both are the opposite direction, and but the some of the other operation for the down shift of the milling of operation is the rotary motion of the tools rotate for the clockwise directions, and the table also rotate for the and the clock the both are the parallel directions. Okay, same directions. Point for the fourth, it may be used where the breakout at the edge of the workpiece should not be tolerated, and suppose that some of the may be used for the breakout, the one of workpiece is complete, and the machines also for stop, and the ears of the workpiece should not be tolerated, and that does not the machines is also for does not required for the continuing operations. Okay, and the machines is performed to the step by step breakdown to the work perform. Okay, and the point 5 is that it required up to the 20% less power. Okay, to cut the this methods. Okay, in this method for use for the 20% less of power, the power is required for the 100% all the manufacturing operations, the provided to the 100% operations, 100% power, and but this is operation is not required for the 20% less of power, यानी कि 80% of power required, and this operation for complete for operations. Okay, point is the 6, it may be used for when the cutting of stock, or when the milling deep thin slot. Okay, suppose that the use for the cutting stock and cutting stock, or the when the milling depth. Okay, deep milling is the milling operation performed to the depth in very depth in the suppose that the workpiece is the very high thickness. Okay, and the work 1 meter of the depth of the job, and the work performed to the 1 meter inner surface. Okay, okay, in the depth of the workpiece is cut for the and provide the operation of the machines. And disadvantage of this of milling machines operations, and it cannot be used for the unless the machines has a backless eliminators, and the tables jigs have been the tightened. Okay, there is the it cannot be used for the machineless for the machines is also for without this work is not performed to the without powers and without machines operations, and backless eliminator suppose that then use for the not back for these operations, and tools also not work for the tools is provided for the operations, and and remove for the increase for the operations, and the do not for the eliminate for the similar operations. And the tables and jigs are also have for required for in these operations, and the support that the workpiece is for, and the support provided to the tables. Okay, and the tables is also for holding the some of devices use. It can be used for the milling casting. Okay, and the machining castings or hot roll rolled steels, since the hard outer cells will the damage the cutters. Okay, some of the in this operation for use for the damages to the machining casting. Okay, the machining casting or hot rolled steels. Okay, suppose that in this the use for the hot rolls casting in, and since the hard outer cells, suppose that this is the very hard material perform on the work, and work the use for the devices, it can be damaged for the cutters and skills of the operations for continue fight to the operation, and it can be used for the machining, casting or hot rollers the steel, since the hard outer surface will be the change for the cutters. Okay, there is the content the change the IC for the check out the cutters speeds, and some of the others of the machines for mentioned to the milling operation, the work holding. Some in this of the milling machines tables come with the precision parallel T slot along the longitudinal axis. Okay, some of the machines and axis of the rotation of the tools, and milling machines perform to the operations, and tables also come with the precision of parallel T slot. The T slot the work operation performed on the operation performed to the along to the longitudinal axis. Okay, the workpiece therefore can be mounted directly on the table used for this the T slot. Okay, and there is the also for the operation is performed to the machines, and form of the T slot. Okay, and there is the also for the T I see for the T slot. Okay, this is the a sync of the diameters, and suppose that there is sync of the diameter also tools for also used for this size. Okay, and this size of the tools also used for the cutting operations. Okay, the cutting operation provided to the tools, and there is the and also for the T slot of the work. Okay, there is the T slot. Okay, there is the T slot of the work performed to the workpiece. Okay, and there are the T slot. Okay, there are T slot. This is the T slot. Okay, this is the T slot of the workpiece therefore can be mounted directly on the tables using for the T-slot. The alternatively the variety of the work holding devices. Okay, some of the classifications and the depend upon the workpiece size and table size, and tools for the cutting tools also for depend on the work depend on the size of the work holding devices. Work holding the workpiece is the depending upon the size types of the workpiece and types of the milling to be done. Okay, and for also for produce some of the and the sum of holding the workpiece is the depending upon the types of the workpiece and also for depend on the tool side and meaning to be done. Clamp, what is the clamp is this is clamp is the also for holding device. Okay, some of the work holding device for large and regular workpiece. Okay, the clamp is also used for the large workpiece and the regular workpiece of the perform to the operation. Clamp in a variety of shapes. Okay, shapes are available as shown in the figure. Okay, some of the clamps in the types of the clamps are variety of the shapes are available shown in the suppose that some of devices for use for the small devices and small clamps and large clamps and depend on the perform to the operations and size of the workpiece and size of the tables depend. Okay, all the depending upon the use for the some of holding devices. Okay, clamp, these clamps can be applied in a variety of way. Okay, there are the more than workpiece are used for the and more devices used for the clamps. Okay, some of the methods are shown in the, however, arcane has to be taken while the clamps are used for the work holding. Okay, some of the clamps also used for the holding devices from. Okay, the operation performed to the and the clamp is also required for the before and after of the operation performed to the machines and clamps is the regular work performed to the operations. Okay, milling operation, some of the milling operation is used for the workpiece should be not is the shifted under the action of the cutting force. Okay, cutting force is also for required for the large workpiece is performed on the perform on the operation and need for the large cutting force and workpiece should be not be shifted. Okay, okay, under the workpiece is also for shifted on the under the condition of the cutting workpiece. Also the clamping force should not be too high such that the distortions of workpiece is take place. Okay, suppose that some of the devices for the use for these operations and there is the clamp for use these operations. Okay, and there is the workpiece. Okay, this is the workpiece. Okay, and this is the use for the on the pilar strip. This is the pilar strip. Okay, this is the also for the holding. This is the tables. This is the tables of the workpiece and this is the strip, the two strip used for the binding of the workpiece. Okay, winding of the with the and suppose that what this is the also for support the workpiece is for the use for the tailstock. Okay, this use for the screw jack. This screw jacks help for the support the workpiece. Okay, and the other is the this is the strip for this is the base of the bed of the machines and second is the also for the T bolts the used for the figure V. The work, this is the work this is the, okay, this is the work piece. Okay, this is the work performed to the this is the shaft. Okay, and this is the V block. V block is also used for the support to the mills tables. Okay, this is the milling table, this is the tables. Okay, and suppose that there is the step block. This is the use for the step block, first step, second step, third step, and fourth step. And the steps wise block is used for the the support. The step by is the step block used for the support the clamp. This is the okay support for the clamp, okay. And the use for the block is support for clamp. And this is the T block, T bolt. T bolt also for use for the supported to the workpiece is the is help of the clamping clamp, okay. And this is the T bolt, okay. This is the top of the corner of this is the T size, okay. And the V is the also for the clamp, okay. V is the also for support the workpiece, okay. And also for some of figure use see for the downside, okay. And the figure clamps and double end, okay. This is the also for this is the clamp, this is clamp is the also for two side, okay. And the finger for clamp, this is the one finger and the two finger other finger, both are the clamp double end, one end and other end, okay. And this is the also for the size of the clamp is provided to this is the is this is the jacks is used for the clamping the workpiece is supported. This is the figure, this figure is the one end, okay, one end of the workpiece. And this is the chuck for the finger clamp single end. This is the single end of the machines also are used in this clamp, okay. This is the U clamp, this is U clamps, this is the gap between the two one legs, this is one foot or and this can be the 2 foot, okay. This is the okay two this is the even in the two in the but the U size of the workpiece also for required of the workpiece. Case of the clamp, this is also for step of the this is upper step and the lower step of the clamp is the two step of the clamps also for size of the as this is the whole of the provided to the support of the workpiece of the clamps, okay. And also for the third positions fifth positions of the this is the this is the clamp is also for the this use for the plain slot clamp. This is the plain slot clamp are also for the use for the some of fixer point or and use for the fixer acting for the jobs and workpiece also for supported to the height of the work, okay. And some of the operations for performed to the of the use for the some of devices of the milling operation. Also for clamping force should not be too the high such that the uh, distortions of workpieces that take place, okay. Some of the workpiece also for need and required for the devices used for the other operations, okay. Milling setups, okay, depending upon the situation, okay. The setup of the machines and other operations for the depending upon the situation and according to operation size, okay, perform to the operation machine size. The large variety of milling methods have been developed in view of the versatility, okay. Some of the operations for developed and used for the operation and these methods are more of the conventions followed on the shop floor, okay. And there is also for the milling operation performed to the large operation and need for the long holding devices and some of the large power required for these operations and tools and tool post of the machines, so on the large area required for the plant in, okay. And the of the rather than the following any other scientific basis of the tools, okay, used for the methods are straining milling In this method, small work piece to be which are to be milled are fed into the milling cutters one after the other. Okay. The In other words, a number of workpiece will be kept on the machine's table in a line, hence are called the stringing milling on the line milling machines. Okay. Some of the machines for also for the other words for number of the workpiece, the number of workpiece is performed to the operations. And suppose steam millings and line milling. Suppose that line milling operation is the long workpiece and longitudinal tools is motion provided to the tools and workpiece is same. Okay. Hence for the workpiece will be of the machine tables is the set for the one line. The main advantage is the individual workpiece are milled for the mailing cutter will we have to the also perform to the operations. And suppose that the other milling cutters, the main advantage is this is individual workpiece are made for the cutting and operations. The milling cutters is we have the approaches for mailing setup. Okay. The abrasist for the reciprocal mailing operation. This is an operation and does with the special mailing fixer which have a capability of the indexing of the 180 degrees. Okay. Suppose that the flat surface of the workpiece perform on the operations for some use for the milling operation T side of the milling operations. To milling cutters use for the surface of the workpiece and remove for the extra materials on the workpiece. And by use of the some of helix angles and hand tools or hand helix, okay, angles for use. Okay. While one component is beginning is machined at the positions one at the second positions which is and 180 degree to the first one. The second component will be is loaded. Okay. And suppose that the second component is the completely work on perform to the workpiece is the 180 degree. The first and second component will be loaded. Okay. And the one component also for a smooth finish and also for 180 degree also for again component also for loaded. When the machines is complete for the locations of one. Okay. The machines also for is complete for the one operations and complete to the other locations. One the fixer indexers beginning the already for clamp component ready for the machining. Okay. The one operation is a complete for the machines perform to the work. And second machines also for loaded for the other positions. And the machines the machines also for main objective of the operation for the machines is the idle time is zero and the of the machines. Okay. And there is the also for the clamp the already the use for the clamps is performed to the operations. And the one the tools perform operation and other devices used for the one perform to the operation is complete for the one job is complete. And second job is also for ready for the ready to the on the machines tools is performed to the work operation of the other jobs. Okay. And this there is the regular work performed to the machines. And some of the holding devices properly work performed to the okay. And in this case the machine need to not remain idle during the in, unloading. Okay. The machines is also for the machine tools perform the work. And other devices used for the loaded to the other workpiece is completely performed to the work. Okay, and some of the to one workpiece is complete and remove for the work, and next job is also for and select for the feed rate and depth of the cut and of the perform to the operations and continue operation perform to the machines. Loading and setup of the mm, blank for machining operations. Okay, the loading and setup for the blank of the machines, and the other is the holding devices for use the machines, and some of the other component for the complete for the machines. The rotary and circular motion of the machines. Rotary milling take place the reciprocal milling to the greater length. Okay, suppose that rotary motion the rotary motion also for rotate the workpiece is the rpm. Okay, 100 rpm and 12 20 rpm and 150 rpm. Okay, as well as the move for the rotate for the workpiece a number of fixtures depending upon the size of the loaded on the rotary tables. Okay, such that the number of workpiece can be loaded in simultaneously on the machine tables. Okay, suppose that one table one job is on the loaded for the tables, and the machines perform on the operations. Okay, and the complete for this operations, and the second job is already proper complete for the on duration of the perform to the tools of work. Okay, one piece is complete for the operations, and second job also for order before the line to line. Okay, and suppose that I will provide it to the this is the tables. Okay, this is the table in this work. This the tools also for provided to the cutting operations. Okay, and this is the job is a complete this is job is completely moved from this directions. Okay, and also for the operation for not completed, but second job is also for ready. Second job is also for ready on the perform to the operation. This job is removed, and this job is also for this positions. Okay, the tools is also for work perform to the continue. Okay, work perform one this job is finished, and this job is also for rotate for these positions. Okay, and the tools is also for perform to continue operations. Okay, and the job is also this job is also complete for this this space, and this job is also not completed, but other job is also for ready for this operations. Okay, and this is the continuous operations, and okay, the number of the use for depending upon the size of the workpiece and the loaded on the rotary tables, such that the number of workpiece can be loaded simultaneously on the machine tables. Okay, this will save the setting time of the workpiece, and kept the machines of cuttings all the times expect during the indexing of the rotary tables. Suppose that some of the rotary tables also rotate for the duration of the work performed to the machines. The during for the indexing of the rotary the also for use the machines and care for the machine cutting all the times, and the suppose that the workpiece also for exceeding the during the indexing of the rotary tables. The rotary can be integral with the milling machines, or the separate for accessory for fix to the milling machine tables. Okay, and some of the milling tables also used for the perform to the operations, and suppose that some of the workpiece is used the operations of machines. the sequence accepted fixed to the milling machines, and some of the table used in these operations, and the milling cutters and milling tools also for performed to the continuous operation and complete for the workpiece in the achieve for in this operation achieve for very smooth surface of the workpiece, and the some of the tools used for the design purpose of the machines. Okay, and the main objective of this machine for the high production rate increase, and productivity of the machine productivity also increase, and efficiency of the industrials manufacturing industry, and some of plants for economics increase. Okay, and as for this also used for the, and so far this present for thank you so much in this video, dear students. So please subscribe these channels, and the creative for the more technical knowledge. Okay, and thank you so much.